welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're new. Today I have a little bit of a different build for you guys. I'm actually building a library cafe in Willow Creek. This was my first attempt ever at a community lot for this save file. I wasn't very confident going into it, but I do actually really like how it turned out. I'm very pleased with it. I did use a reference for the outside of the build. I will put it on the screen if I can find it, hopefully. But for the interior of the build, I just kind of went with a classic dark wood themed library. There's a kids area, a computer area, a donation rack when you first walk in, and then towards the back there's actually a cafe. If that sounds like something you would enjoy, then come join me. Let's grab a hot drink, a blanket, and let's get right into it. I also just wanted to apologize in case I sound kind of weird. Everyone I know is sick right now. I actually just got over COVID myself a couple weeks ago, but it's just the feeling in my throat will not go away, and it's been almost a month at this point. I think I actually built this when I had COVID, which was a couple weeks ago at this point. I think that would have been around the end of August. The build itself is actually nothing too crazy, just a simple library with a cafe. Although I did have a lot of fun because I don't really attempt these very often. I think I mentioned in my last video I wasn't sure if I wanted to be the one to build the community lots in this save file or if I was just going to download them from the gallery and maybe make a list of the creators. I think I decided that I'm going to attempt what I can, and then if something is really hard, I might just download it from the gallery. In terms of speed builds and what I have done so far in terms of community lots, I have this library, I have a laundromat, I made a vet clinic in Willow Creek as well. So at the time I'm recording this voiceover, I do have a couple done. I'm actually almost entirely done of Willow Creek. I think off the top of my head I have the 3 spaces that are typically community lots. I have those, I have 2 more residential lots, and then I think I'm entirely done of Willow Creek, which is very exciting. I started the save file I think mid-July, beginning of August, so it's taken almost 2 months to finish Willow Creek. So it's definitely going to be some time before I finish the rest of the worlds, but I've also already started playing with a couple families. I plan to do a lore video very soon. I've been keeping track of all the Sims that I placed down so far using a Google spreadsheet. I think I counted yesterday 70 Sims just between the worlds of Willow Creek, Oasis Springs, and Newcrest. I'm just so nervous to do a lore update video. Just not used to talking off the top of my head to the mic like this. I feel like doing a voiceover is one thing, but the idea of talking non-stop at the top of my head is just nerve-wracking. Plus I'm so nervous to talk in front of the mic if other people are home. So I always wait for my fiance to go to work and then I do my voiceovers. If I don't do it, then I'll never get better and I'll never do it. So expect it soon. Oh, I'm about to start doing the cafe part of the build. I wanted to do something a little bit different because the libraries in The Sims 4 are just kind of boring. The actual lot type is set as a cafe, not a library. That's just because I wanted to make sure that a Sim would spawn to work the counter in the register. If I was to set it as a library, I think you would have to manually click it in order to hire somebody to work there. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works in The Sims. The one thing I don't love about this lot is how tall the walls are, but that was the only way that I could get it to work with the platforms and then like the trim I have around the outside. So that's what I went with. I just feel like it looks a little bit weird when you're looking at it like this. The walls are so tall. It's been so long since I've actually gone to a library to just sit down and read. When I was a kid, after school, I used to spend hours in the library, but after becoming an adult and going to school and starting to work, I just kind of lost the habit of reading, so I'm really trying to get back into it. Recently read The Alchemist. I really enjoyed it. It's not typically what I go for. Lately, I've been kind of just reading books from the wellness section. I just finished 2 books by Susan Cain. One was called Quiet, and the other was called Bittersweet. I loved them. Really, I'll read anything. It's just kind of hard for me to find books I can sit down and immerse myself in. I don't know, my attention span is just so bad these days. I just miss being able to sit down and finish a whole book in a single day. If there's anybody watching this, what do you guys like to read? I'm always open for book suggestions. Right now though, I have so many books on my bookshelf that I haven't read yet that I really need to finish before I buy new books. No matter how many times I tell myself that, I will definitely be in the bookstore in a couple days. Usually I have a list of books that I want, and like if I happen to be in the mall then I might stop in the bookstore, but I actually don't think I have any books on it right now. There's definitely some books that I'm interested in. I don't know, I don't have them on my list for some reason. I used to really love, well, I still do, but like horror novels. It's just been a long time since I've read one. Oh, also this cafe looked so cute. I'm super proud of it, considering the fact that I did not have much room to work with. I really loved that rug too. It was really funky and I never really get the opportunity to use it. One of the hardest things for me in my builds is finding things to put on the walls, especially for like community lots. Like, what are you supposed to put on the walls? Libraries usually have posters and stuff, maybe flyers or posters for events going on in the community. But cafes, in my experience, don't usually have a lot of things on the walls. They might have like an art piece or two, but I find when I build, I get really in my own head and I feel like if the walls are empty, then I forgot something. I remember when I first started building, even the homes I would build for my Sims had nothing on the walls. And that's so not realistic. A real person's house would have artwork, family pictures, things like that. But no, I just never included anything in my builds. My builds were so empty, it was so sad. Another reason I'm having a lot of fun with this channel and doing these speed builds is it's making me think about things that I don't usually think about or use objects that I haven't used before. So many times I'm filming these builds and I come across an object, I'm like, I did not know we had this, or I didn't know we had this in this amount of swatches. This swatch is so cute. There's a curtain, and I wish I could remember what pack it's from, but there's a curtain that's like really fall themed. It has like leaves and pumpkins and stuff on it. So cute. I've literally never seen it before. Used it, I think, in my last build, the trailer park. Oh my god, it's to die for. I've literally put it in every single house I've built since. Wish I actually had it in real life. It's so cute. I am obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, so in this area I wanted to do like a wraparound computer desk, sort of for like the librarians that would work here, right? These counters would not work for me. I did in the end get it to work, but I had to cut out at least 20 minutes of me struggling with these counters. It was ridiculous. Since I'm starting to get into like the furnishing of this build, I will say there are a couple pieces of custom content in this build. However, I didn't go really overboard with it. If you download this build from the gallery and you don't have access to the custom content, or you can't use custom content, you won't be missing a lot. I think in that situation anyway, the game will generate other objects to sort of fill in and take the place. But again, like, you won't be missing much. I think the only custom content I really used maybe was a wallpaper and I think maybe a computer. But if you do want to make sure that you have the custom content in this build, it is in a list on my Tumblr. I created a master list of all the build by CC that I have in my mods folder and listed the creators and their download links. And if I ever download anything new, then I just add it to that list. I wanted to make it as easy as possible to get the custom content in my builds without sharing my actual mods folder or individually tracking each piece of custom content for each build I do. A lot of custom content creators have terms of use that they don't want other people to upload their content, which is fair, and I would never do that anyway. And a lot of problems can come up if you're downloading entire folders from other simmers, including like outdated CC and mods, and trust me, you just do not want to deal with that. I've had that problem before. It can be a nightmare to fix your game after that. So it's just easiest if you see a custom content piece that you want, you can just head over to the Tumblr, find it on that list, and then you're good to go. I don't have a huge list of build by CC. I actually downsized my mods folder quite a bit recently, and I don't really go looking for build by CC. I might download something if it looks interesting. Truthfully, most of my build by CC I think is like the grungy items. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm on a tangent, but back to the build. I think the final version of this library that I ended up putting on the gallery is a little bit different from the one that you see in this video. That's mainly just because when I play tested it, I wanted to make sure that it was functional. Not a whole lot changed. Like, the vibe is still the same, the layout is still the same. There were just a couple bookshelves I think that I had to move around. But overall, like, I'm super pleased with how it came out. I love that little kids area I did as well. I really loved the back-to-back bookshelf aisles that I made here as well. And I put little benches in between each one so that your Sims could sit down and read. I just love the vibe of this library. The vibe is just so cozy. Just imagine sitting here and reading your book and enjoying your drink and just going about your business just at peace. You remember before, in this area, I actually had like a nook of just bookshelves. But when I finished those aisles that I was working on earlier, I looked around and I realized there was a lot of bookshelves, but not a lot of skill building objects. So I ended up taking out that book nook and I replaced it with the computers. I ended up liking this a lot better because it just didn't feel as overcrowded to me. Also, from here I didn't change a whole lot. I mostly just finished up the cluttering and I worked a little bit on the outside. Is another thing that I did change before I uploaded it to the gallery. In this video the exterior wall is red brick, but I did change that to brown. I felt like the brown looked a bit more dated. To me, it just felt more right. I went back and forth for a long time about whether or not it should be red or brown, and I even asked my Twitter, and it was still 50-50. Both looked really good, but I ended up going with the brown. Another factor that made me choose brown is the way that it looked from the world map. The red was just so bright that it washed out every other build that I made, so I just ended up going with brown and it stayed pretty neutral. We are actually coming up on the last couple minutes of this video, so I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to play some music. I do think from here the video is mainly just me placing down some clutter and doing the final touches on the landscaping outside, but I had a lot of fun talking to you guys. I feel like with every one of these voiceovers that I do, I get more comfortable. I'm really enjoying making them, so I'm hoping other people enjoy watching them. So if you stuck around for this long, thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye!